Hi everybody, I'm Paddy Hunter-Murphy, and this is the Senior Pickleball Tips Podcast, where we discuss everything pickleball as it relates to us seniors. Hi everybody, I've got with me David Bungard, and when I first started playing pickleball in November 2023, I went along to the Surrey Downs Pickleball Club and I met David. This friendly face was there. And he said, "What's your name then?" I said, "Paddy." And he said, "Have you played pickleball?" I said, "No, not really." And he gave me a few pointers and we took it from there and we've been friends ever since. David, welcome.
Paddy, thank you for your kind words. It is always a pleasure seeing new people arriving on the pickleball court to take part in this ever increasingly popular game. And I'm so glad that you came out from a tennis background onto a smaller court with a harder ball and a smaller paddle and seem to thoroughly enjoy yourself.
Well, I do. I'm in that majority, I think, who are just addicted now. It's as simple as that.
It's very easy to become addicted, and many people that I know are, and I probably would call myself an addict of pickleball. Enjoy playing it whenever and wherever I can.
Fantastic. Right, so let's start at the beginning with you, David. So what's your pickleball story?
Well, my pickleball story started really in 2017. My wife, unfortunately, had been suffering from cancer. I'll talk about that a little later on. But when we came back from Brazil, after we'd been to visit her family after her first courses of treatment, I turned up at Tadworth Leisure Centre and saw this game being played in the sports hall, which I thought may have been a short tennis or some other form of racket sport. And it turned out that it was pickleball. And I was welcomed by those who were playing, mainly Lou Stevens, who's now a very well-known figure in pickleball throughout the world, mainly in the UK as well. And they said, "Come along and play and try it out," which I did. And I hadn't been playing any competitive racket sports prior to starting to play pickleball, really.
Wow.
I dabbled a bit in tennis and a bit in squash, but I hadn't picked up a racket of any type for about 25 years before I started playing pickleball in early 2017. So 2017 I started to enjoy it, played regularly at Tadworth during the year, although a bit less regularly than I do now because my wife was at that time in remission and we had other things that we wanted to try and do together if things went downhill again, which unfortunately they did. And in 2018, although having said that, in 2017 we also held a Christmas party for what was then South London area pickleball, known as SLAP. And we had a whole load of people, I think 35, 40 people at our house for a Christmas party, which Eliana thoroughly enjoyed doing because she was always an incredible hostess. And that endeared her to the pickleball crowd from South London area pickleball, which was the forerunner of what is now Surrey Downs Pickleball. Cut a long story short, unfortunately, Eliana went into a second phase of her cancer in mid-2018. I didn't play that much at that time, and we sadly lost her in January 2019. We'd been married for 44 years, wow. And as you can quite understand, it was a huge shock to the system, my own as well as the family. But the pickleball community at Tadworth were absolutely incredible in helping me get through what were extremely difficult times at the end of 2018, beginning of 2019. They even went as far, and I love them all for that, they actually held a tournament in Eliana's name, and they had the Eliana Bungard Memorial Trophy, which was played in 2019 and 2020. As I say, tragedy moved into something which gave me a far deeper feeling for other people and the way that pickleball helped me overcome an incredible amount of grief. And I just took hold of pickleball and sort of almost made it my mission at the time to play as much and to be as helpful as I possibly could with other people who were involved in the sport. And that is the reason really that I continue playing today as much as I do.
Well, David, that's a truly heartwarming story. Thank you so much for sharing that for us. I know it's difficult, but I suppose in a way also it's helpful as well, moving forward. And it's wonderful to think that pickleball has helped you through that.
Absolutely amazingly so, and continues to do so. I've made so many friends, met so many incredible people, obviously not excluding yourself, who have helped me on that journey and helped me play pickleball and move forward in my life with something which has a lot of meaning to my life.
Fantastic.
At the moment. And
yeah.
From there, I've played around the world. I've played in the UK, in England, that same year, 2019. And it's strange how pickleball has really developed since then. I played in Milton Keynes in April 2019, and that was one of the only 2 pickleball festivals in the country at the time.
Yes.
Now you can probably find a festival or a tournament virtually every week, should you want to.
Yeah. I mean, it's really progressed here in the UK over sort of 5-6 years. I mean, I'm a newbie to the sport, but from what I've been reading, it really has progressed very rapidly.
Hugely so. The first English nationals, which were held in Nottingham in 2019, I think there were approximately 300 players at that particular event.
Yes.
And now in 2024, at the English Open, recently held in August in Telford, there were just under 2,000 participants. Americans came over, Indians, Portuguese, Spanish, French, a whole range of nationalities, apart from obviously a huge field of UK or UK players from all of the 4 countries in the United Kingdom.
Well, that's just tremendous, isn't it? Because to get that global view, I think is important. I mean, at Senior Pickleball Tips in the Facebook group, and I know you're a member, we represent 44 different countries. And so although we love Americans and Canadians, who make up sort of a good 80% of the membership, which is completely understandable because that is the home and the centre of pickleball at the moment.
It's not surprising. There are something like 13.5 million, if not more, players in the States at the moment compared to other countries which may count several thousands of players only.
It's crazy, but I think people know about the growth, and it's absolutely fantastic because of the wonders of the sport, I think, and how it helps. And so I was going to ask you, how do you think, from your view, pickleball can help seniors? And when we're looking at seniors, we define them as sort of 50 plus. That's how it's defined in the Pickleverse. So how do you feel pickleball can help seniors?
I think that the whole spirit of pickleball is that it is a community sport. It's something which people will go along and play, meet new people, have a lot of fun, not really having to struggle to be competitive if they don't want to, and just really enjoy themselves. I think that there are a lot of senior pickleball players out there who perhaps have never taken part in tournaments and festivals. They'll go to their local club, they'll meet up with old friends and make some new ones as the membership grows, sit down for a cup of coffee after they've played, or go for a beer or a meal, and generally generate a feeling of well-being amongst the people that are there. Well, pickleball always was considered, up until probably 5 or 6 years ago, as a senior sport or a seniors sport. The demographic of pickleball had always been people over 50s, people who were either retired or semi-retired, and a lot of people who perhaps are on their own and hadn't got very much else that they could sort of latch on to do.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. I mean, in my work, I come across sort of loneliness really amongst some older people. Not all, but there's quite a lot of older people living on their own. And pickleball is something that they can take up. It's fairly easy to get started. And the social aspects are phenomenal. I think maybe, I don't know if you agree, because the games don't last very long. I mean, I play a set of tennis sometimes and it takes an hour. Whereas a game to 11 points, although you're only obviously gaining a point when you serve, that can 15 minutes, and then you're off the court, have a bit of a chat, and then you go back on again. I think that has helped with the socialization. Do you agree with that, David?
Yes, and I think also that you'll find that the physical strain of playing pickleball is nothing like that of playing tennis or a longer game. I mean, I couldn't imagine going for a 5-hour match, 10-15 minute game off the court. You may sit down before another game starts and you can chat to people. It's not physically exerting, but at the same time it is a strategic game, and therefore it's a mentalization of the game which will keep you aware and alert as to what's going on around you.
Yeah, I mean, I read somewhere, and I'm sure you have as well, it's sort of around the pickleverse, if you sort of look around, is that there are reports that if you play racket sports, including pickleball, and some people say especially pickleball, you're going to live 10 more years. Have you heard that?
I think there was a program on one of the television channels about longevity, and pickleball was actually quite a large part of one of those episodes, whereby they went to several communities in the United States and found that people were playing pickleball and as such were more alert, more active. And certainly the endorphins going through into your brain when you're playing pickleball are undoubtedly going to help you.
And it's also that strategic. I mean, David, you mentioned that strategic thing. You're about to hit the ball. You got to think, where are they? What are they doing? Where should I hit this ball? How should I hit this ball? And all that is keeping this thing going.
Absolutely, Paddy. Couldn't agree more. As I said, it is strategy. You're trying to outwit your opponents. You're trying to read what they're doing. The mental involvement in playing pickleball is phenomenal. It's
So obviously you're crazy about the sport like me, but you actually go beyond to spread the word about pickleball in UK and beyond our shores here in the UK. Tell us a bit about that. I think you regularly go to Nepal. Is that right, David?
Yeah, I'll come back to Nepal if I can in a minute. But when I started playing pickleball in 2019, I was asked to represent Surrey and Greater London for Pickleball England.
Wow.
And part of my responsibility, if you like, whilst I was the representative, was to introduce pickleball all around the region. And I was fortunate enough to get involved in helping setting up clubs from Brixton to Barnet, Enfield, Gunnersbury Park, Harrow, Hendon, Wokingham.
Whoa.
Some of your listeners might have to Google some of those names to find where they are. But lots of places in and around London and the Surrey area where I would go along, take a couple of nets with me, take a bag full of balls and a bag full of paddles, and introduce the sport to those who wanted to learn and wanted to find out what it's all about. And it was a great experience. Again, I keep on meeting up with people at festivals and tournaments who I actually introduced the sport to several years ago. So that, as far as I was concerned, really led me into wanting to help develop as much as I can. I took what they call the leadership certification course, which allows me to teach people the basics of the game and introduce them to it. And I've traveled around Europe quite a lot, both playing tournaments and taking part in festivals, and thoroughly enjoying the international mix of it. Nepal was a special one because I went to Nepal in 2023 with a very good friend, two friends, Navin Gurung, who is Nepalese, and Karen Duggan from Cambridge Pickleball, and took part in a mini tournament in pickleball amongst only a handful of enthusiastic Nepalese players.
Fantastic.
Who again didn't have that much equipment, didn't have paddles. I won a silver medal at that little tournament.
Woohoo! Hang on. Woohoo! Let's just take that. Well done.
One of my 13 medals that I have so far.
Excuse me.
In the pickleball world, Paddy.
Whoa.
but there are too many to go through where I won all of them. There is still an elusive gold, which I have not yet got, but silvers and bronzes quite a few of. And in fact, during that particular excursion to Nepal in 2023, I presented a diadem paddle to the young man who beat me in the gold medal match, which absolutely delighted him, and he continues using it today. So this year, earlier this year, a further trip was involved to Nepal, where Karen and I had been asked to help organise and run the first Nepalese international pickleball tournament, which we did in Kathmandu in March, and it was a great success. For the first one that they'd had, I think we had 130 odd players coming from all sorts of countries: India, Hong Kong, Singapore, UK, Nepal, a couple from the States, and it was tremendous to see the enthusiasm and the development of pickleball in Nepal from one year to the next. And I think because it is such an incredibly friendly community type sport, that people do become enthused and want to develop and want to get better. And worldwide, that is happening in virtually every country that you can mention.
Yeah. Well, one thing I quite like saying in the Senior Pickleball Tips Facebook group, and you're a member, we got 44 countries, and we have a member in Antarctica.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. Well, that is surprising. I wonder how they managed to play on ice.
I'm going to ask for a photo.
you need to find out. Perhaps we can organise a tournament down in Antarctica in future.
That would be fun. So thank you so much, David, for your time. But just finish up. So how do you see the sport developing into the future? I mean, we got UK, we got US, Canada, we got globally. What's your sort of perspective on that?
I think there are now something like 70 different countries who play pickleball. Clearly, the States are the biggest factor in that. And clearly the international development of pickleball is going to surge ahead regardless. Yes. But there is one factor that still needs to be resolved before they can even think about it becoming an Olympic sport, which I'm sure eventually it will become. There are two bodies who essentially say they govern pickleball. It's the International Federation of Pickleball and the World Pickleball Federation. And unless those two can get out of the differences that they appear to have and try and consolidate into one organized body, then I don't think the future for pickleball can become as officialized as people would like to see it.
Because that's necessary for it to become an Olympic sport, isn't it?
It has to become an Olympic sport. I think there are almost enough countries playing now to make it an Olympic sport, but there is not one organizing body which essentially can drive it forward.
Yeah.
And that's something which needs to be sorted out sooner rather than later. But because the sport is such an exponential grower everywhere, I think, again, in the UK, where you're looking now at probably 30,000 odd players around the country, or around the four home countries, as it were, and over 600 places to play, when you consider how that has grown since 2019, basically, when Pickleball England started up, again, we need some form of definition, which hopefully will come this year, as to who is going to run pickleball in England.
Yes.
Paddy's probably well aware of the Lawn Tennis Association's bid to run it. I sincerely hope that Karen Mitchell and her team, who've done an incredible job for Pickleball England, are allowed to continue running and developing it.
Yeah.
But again, I see in England perhaps the potential for, unfortunately to a certain extent, but maybe the splitting off or the dividing of pickleball into two succinct groups.
Yes, go on.
It's already becoming partly professionalized, if you like, with what they call the PPE tournaments going on around the country, where some incredible teams of pickleball players are vying for the trophies that are available at the end of the day, and the purses which are now being offered to take part in some of those tournaments. That obviously is a junior attraction as opposed to a senior attraction.
Yes.
And I think the time has come, probably like the States, for the seniors to start getting together and putting on their own tournaments, their own competitions, unfortunately dividing it up a little bit, but at the same time, hopefully continuing to participate in festivals as a whole, and having tournaments maybe separated from.
Yes, I mean, that's a very good point. I know that there is the USSP, which is United States Senior Pickleball.
Right.
And I think it's not a governing body, I don't think. It's more enthusiastic and getting people playing, a bit like what we're doing. And I think it goes along parallel with the governing bodies. So maybe something like that in the UK as well, and indeed elsewhere. So because senior pickleball is, as you say, maybe slightly different to the more sort of cut and thrust of the high competitive nature of the sport. Yes, and that's the whole reason for Senior Pickleball Tips to exist and to take off, and so we can help each other along this journey. Yeah, so David, listen, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. So what's your next pickleball thing? Where are you next playing pickleball? Tomorrow? Today?
Thank you, Paddy. No, I'm playing today at the club level, and I certainly hope to see you back at the club as soon as the weather changes a little bit more. You are missed sorely on the court.
Well, that's very kind of you.
I'm then playing in Burgess Hill on Sunday, a little festival that's...
Yes, I was going to go down there. I know Steve Beale organises them. He's becoming
There's still spaces on Sunday to come down, though, Paddy.
Well, I'll see. I'll see. We have that family thing on Sunday, and David referred to me coming indoors because it's the summer at the moment. I'm playing a bit of outdoors pickleball, but I do want to come and say hi again to all my friends at Surrey Downs Pickleball Club and get involved.
You'll be, as always, most welcome, Paddy.
Thank you, David, ever so much. And you take good care, and we will see you again soon. Okay.
Nice talking to you, Paddy, and thank you for inviting me to your podcast.
Okay, bye for now.
Soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to the Senior Pickleball Tips podcast, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Now remember, we've got the Facebook group, we've got the seniorpickleballtips.com website, so please head on there if you want to be more involved. It would be great to see you. Okay, my Senior Pickleball Tips friends, paddle up, stay safe, and most importantly, have fun. Don't want to miss an episode? Please subscribe to Senior Pickleball Tips podcast on iTunes, Apple, and also on Spotify. And please leave a rating and review. All right, guys, listen, I'll see you soon. Bye for now.